Hi everyone, I'm hoping this video finds you all safe and healthy, and we decided we were going to do an episode to hopefully take away some of the boredom. It's not going to be an in-depth episode, it's going to be more topical. One of the things that we talked about was covering an area of fashion alternatives, and this week would be wedding dresses. So we have a lot of things to consider as alternatives for wedding dresses. For those of you that watched our TV show, LA Frock Stars, we had an episode where a bride came in, I think she had just a few days before her wedding, and she picked this gorgeous white Alexander McQueen gown. But we picked a few things. Most of them are in the white color zone. We could have gone other colors as well, but you think historically, going back to the time of Queen Victoria and her husband in 1840, she really set the trend for white, and the expanse of the British Empire and the popularity of what she wore kind of filtered out, and in its day it became viral. So up until that time, white was not really considered the color for bridal. The other thing about going back over 150 years is it was never thought of to only wear a garment once. Other cultures had colors that were typical for their bridal attire. In Asia, red was the color. The idea of tradition has its sweet spot in my heart. However, those people that buck tradition are remembered. Like, think of Bianca Jagger in her white pantsuit. We have a lot of that here, and I think if something talks to you and you feel beautiful in it, go for it. So I want to show you what we've pulled. A lot of these pieces are actually available on our website. One of the reasons why I like selling vintage as a bridal alternative, fashion alternative, is some wedding gowns can cost in excess of $5,000. But vintage has become a popular go-to for millennials, not just because of the cost, but because it's green. And it's hopefully they'll be picking garments that they'll be able to wear more than once. I'm going to start with this gorgeous Grecian gown. It has peekaboo in the lower bust area. It's a silk chiffon. It's by Malcolm Starr, who's one of my favorite 60s, 70s designer, and is a label that is loved and appreciated and can be pricey, higher price point, but is one of those kind of under the radar for most people. This one is sweet and sexy, which is a great combination. And then on this side, this is a Lanvin haute couture ensemble with the beautiful zigzag beading on the midriff and the cuffs, and it's a silk crepe with a silk crepe lining. We're going to start, we have some older pieces and some more modern pieces, and we actually have the pleasure of our own Orchid satellite bringing in her wedding ensemble that she bought here. I wanted to throw in something super romantic from the Edwardian period. These pieces float my boat because it's a combination of handmade Irish crochet. It's on a cotton tulle with hand embroidery, and somebody put a zipper on it, which, I mean, I could close it off and put snaps, hooks, and eyes on the side, but I'm not going to. So somebody updated it so it has an easier way of getting in and out. These pieces are so romantic, and they're reminiscent of a time period that I love. We also pulled this fabulous Eastern European smocked and hand embroidered on a voile. We have several versions of this in different pale colors, but this reminds me of May Day, I love it. This is couture, and it's Lanvin Castillo. It's a beautiful lace with a very long peplum, strapless. And I mean, this looks like a bridal dress. This beautiful Chantilly lace is more contemporary. I'd say this is 1990. Somebody wrote a comment. Museums are bound by certain rules in letting go of things that they've accepted into their collection. And when they take a piece in, it's accessioned. But when they let it go, it's de-accessioned. And typically the rule of law is that it has to go up in a public auction, public sale, and that way there's no favoritism. And they get fair market value. So I bought this at auction. It's Donald Deal, who's a New York designer, and it has the date of, I can't actually read it on this accession tag. It was donated in 2012. Oh, it says spring 1995. And it's multi-layer fabric, which is reminiscent of Stavropolis. And it's beautifully finished. And speaking of Stavropolis, this dreamy strapless with probably 5 or 6 layers of chiffon underneath and this waterfall Chantilly lace in the back. Have this great strapless Oscar de la Renta metallic lace gown, which has kind of a metallic gimp at the bottom, and it has a shawl as well. And I would say this one is 1960s, probably late 60s. And for those of you that want to aspire towards Juliet, because you found your Romeo, we have, this thing is really heavy. Everything is put on top of a gold lame brocade, and then it's gold bullion soutache or bonaz with topaz colored rhinestones, and it's a beautiful empire style. It's classic, can be worn indefinitely. Then we're gonna go to something that's not white. This 70s bohemian, it's with a lattice woven ribbon. It's polyester, butterfly sleeves. I mean, something like this is about $200. So it gives people with a budget, restricted budget, romantic option. So this piece is Karl Lagerfeld for Chloe. It's drop waist. It's a really wonderful heavy cotton lace. A lot of the pieces we have for bridal are hardy, which means they will last a very long time. And if it's something that you want to consider as an heirloom piece to pass on to your kids, it should still be around for them. And then I'm going to show Orchid's bridal ensemble, because it's not your typical. It's this beautiful cotton lace over piece with pants. It's really bold and makes a strong statement, but I love the fact that this was your wedding gown. It's fabulous. And I love the fact that you got it here and you ended up being a part of us. We also put a couple of bridal headpieces on the end. This is a kind of a, this one is somewhat traditional. It's with wax beads, and we have some 1920s ones with wax flowers that are amazing that they've lasted as long as they have. And then this one is from the 50s. And this came from a store in Texas. The woman had the store since the 1950s, I believe, and almost everything in there was dead stock, never worn. And she had a large clientele for quinceañera dresses, and so she had crowns and things for the young girls to wear. This is from her, I love, from the town that Buddy Holly is from. A favorite of the 80s, Mary McFadden. McFadden was beloved by the upper society because her clothing really showed the female form. She was a great alternative to Fortuny, and her fabrics were forgiving. They were heated polyester. This one has a wonderful kind of lattice neckline, beaded, and I think would make a really beautiful bridal gown. And this is probably 1980s. The label on this one is McFadden Couture. For those of you that are familiar with Lagerfeld's last runway show, which he did not appear because he wasn't feeling well, he did a completely embellished in crystals and all kinds of ornate things, basically a bathing suit. So this is our version of Chanel 2019. And this beautiful lace overpiece to wear with it. So this is 1950s, late 50s, early 60s. We are making every effort to do an episode a week, although with the stay-at-home orders, it's not the easiest thing to do. So we love you and we want to keep feeding you hopefully interesting content. And if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. We've been asked to do more accessories, and we're definitely making an effort to have everything that we show on these episodes on our website. For those of you that are chomping at the bit to shop, we have some great things on the website. Almost everything has been discounted. We're offering free shipment, domestic, basic shipment, and yeah, we're here for you. So if you don't see something you're looking for, either message us on YouTube or email the store and we'll get back to you. Email to the store gets a definite response. Comments on YouTube, because there are hundreds, it's not as easy. Grateful for everything that I have in my life. Grateful that the people that I love and people that are in my heart are all healthy and doing well, and I hope the same for you. So until next time, see you later.